and welcome to W Rated, the podcast where we watch the world's worst rated movies. Today we are welcoming you with an introductory episode to share more about who we are, what you can expect from the podcast, and just chat about what we're excited for and also not so excited for to discover in the podcast this year. I'm Daisy, and I'm joined by my podcast co-creator and co-host Claire. Claire, how are you doing on this lovely wintry day at the end of 2020?
I'm good. If anyone knows me from Twitter, you'll know I've had some car drama recently, and my car came back from the garage about an hour ago, so I can actually leave my house again. It's been a bad couple of weeks.
A post-Christmas miracle, some may say.
Absolutely.
Can't drive anywhere in the tiered system, but at least you've got the freedom of being able to leave your abode.
I'm not in walking distance of a park, so I could it would take me an hour to walk to my nearest park to then go for a walk. So now I can at least drive somewhere pretty to walk rather than the quarries of Dartford, which are not nice.
What do you mean? I thought they were on one of the seven wonders of the world,
Kent is the Garden of England. It does say so on the sign.
Well, I'm really glad. That's really good. We're going to take the small wins in 2020, I think. I thought we'd kick off with a little bit of a background about where this podcast originated from. And then maybe, Claire, you can just tell us a bit about what we can expect from the podcast and how everything's going to be coming together. So myself and Claire have got to know each other this year through the wonderful world of Twitter, and we're discussing different film challenges. Claire, you have a book, right, that you go through, and there's different film challenges that you can watch.
So it was a birthday gift this summer. So it is the 52-week film challenge, but I'm not doing it weekly. I'm just doing it whenever I want because I'm greedy. And it just has a different one. So it's things like watch a film set the year you were born, watch a film in a foreign language. And so I am doing it at films I've never seen before. And it's quite fun.
I always think the challenges are a good way to decide what you want to watch. And I think we were talking about that on Twitter, and some of the things that I wanted to do in 2021 were top 250 on IMDb. I got bought the 1,000 movies to see before you die at Christmas. That's another thing that I'm going to try and tackle. That's going to take me forever. But one of the other ones that I mentioned was looking at IMDb's bottom 100 rated films. Obviously, they are there for a reason. They've been staring at me for years. I know there'll be an experience. So I said, right, I'm going to do it in 2021. And Claire, you quite geniusly asked me if I was going to be making a record of these experiences, to which this sort of idea of the podcast was born. So Claire, take us through what we're going to be doing sort of together for the podcast, what we can expect from W Rated.
Okay, so we are going to be looking at all of the 100 films across probably a couple of years. So it's IMDb's bottom 100. The most interesting thing is it is a fluid list. This list is constantly changing. And between announcing the podcast and coming up with the idea and recording our first episode now, the list has already changed. There was a new entry in the last couple of weeks. So for anyone really excited to listen to the torture of me having to watch Holmes and Watson, I'm afraid it's no longer on the list. So I've spared us all from that one. And there is a new film from 2020. Did you know there are already 3 different movies just from 2020 on the list?
That's crazy. Well, it's 2020, so I'm not actually surprised.
Yeah, I know. But I'm like, have people even been releasing that many movies for 3 of them to be so bad that IMDb have rated them the worst of all time?
That's crazy.
But that's part of the reason as well for doing the podcast. While we're calling them the worst movies ever made, it's more of an investigation. Are these movies actually the worst ever made? And I've discovered I've seen 7 so far on the list. And of the 7 I've seen, I wouldn't say they're great, but I also wouldn't say that they're the worst films I've ever seen or the worst films that have ever been made. So we're going in with an open mind. We're going to see what went wrong. How could it have been saved? Are they really that bad? And it won't just be us. We're going to try and invite kind of fans and champions of these films onto the podcast to kind of make their case and say, why this film is so misunderstood.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a court drama for film, isn't it?
I haven't made it sound like that, haven't I?
No, but I love it. Maybe we should just change the whole format. I love this. We're kind of taking them Yeah. Stop the design, change it now. It's kind of like just taking something that obviously, like you say, Claire, as people have kind of said, this is awful for whatever reason, like it's really low down average scores. And one thing to sort of say about the bottom 100 as well is that they are aggregated, and there's an algorithm the way that IMDb does it, and I think it kind of puts a lot of emphasis and value on people that regularly rate films on there. And they also have done it where you have to have 10,000 votes on each of the films. So the way they've looked at it is that these films are popular, they've been seen by a fair few amount of people, and the people who have given them these ratings are people that have seen a lot of other films and rated them as well. So it's you're kind of getting rid of that, the trolling kind of people who are just on there just to trash films. It kind of gives me a bit of hope.
There is one film on there that I think is on there for troll reasons only.
Oh, really?
And that isn't
Which
Troll
one?
Hunter. Black Christmas. I've not seen Black Christmas,
right.
But I am aware of the discourse around it. And
okay.
I do believe I'll have to research it for when we do get to that episode, which will probably be next Christmas. Keeping it timely.
I think we should. Yeah, let's do it. Hopefully it doesn't change. Probably.
But yeah, as far as I saw, there was a lot of discourse about it being a female-led film and very anti-men, and it would be interesting to research the types of reviews that were made and how it ended up on the list.
Yes.
Quite interested in that one.
Yeah, and it's part of sort of the episodes that we'll be talking about the films. We're going to be looking at, what the critics said, what the audiences said. Obviously, as Claire said, we'll have guests on the show to talk about, so I think hopefully we'll be able to, by the end of each episode, have a bit more of a well-rounded view about what this film really is, and see if it does deserve, its ranking on the bottom 100. So really excited to get started, share it all with you guys and get everyone involved as well.
If you do want to be involved, but you're not able to be a guest, or you're not feeling that you want to be a guest, you can still be involved in every episode. For each episode we do, we're going to open it up. You can send us a voice memo or just an email if you'd prefer, telling us what you thought of the film that we'll be reviewing. So for our first episode, it will be The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas. So if you've seen Viva Rock Vegas and you have an opinion on the Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas, drop us a voice memo or an email to wratedpod@gmail.com and you might hear it on the episode.
I can't wait to hear people's opinion on that film. I know we've got some friends that are very vocal about the Flintstones, so...
No one's more vocal about the Flintstones than me.
That's true. But hopefully we'll be able to get some views on the podcast. Really excited about that. So now you know a bit about the podcast. We wanted to share a little bit more just about ourselves and what we're kind of looking forward to the podcast, maybe what we're dreading. I know I've got a few in mind. So I'm Daisy. You may know me on Twitter as Tequila Brie. Massive film and TV fan, although I always seem to be behind on new releases. Lots to catch up on, but the passion is there. As you can tell, I'm putting myself through these films. The love of film and TV is there. In my spare time, I'm also working on my experience as a producer. So I work with the team at Jump Cut Studios, where I'm working on some projects there. And in terms of my favourite films, which I thought Claire thought would be nice to touch on as well, pretty cliche. And I do have the posters on my wall like a film bro. But they are...
I was going to mock you for being a film bro when I saw this list. I was like, oh, Daisy.
Do it. It's really...
You are a massive film bro.
I feel like my favourite films that I always go to are Pulp Fiction, Back to the Future and A New Hope. But I feel like this year, maybe I just need to... when you just rely on them like a crutch, you're like, they're just the ones that are always in your head because that's what you've always said. Maybe this year I need to reevaluate.
Well, so I did that during the summer for a mini challenge. I turned 31 in August, and there are 31 days in August. So I decided for the whole of August, every day I would watch one of my favourite films to see if I did still love it. So I kind of went through all the films that I loved. There were way more than 31, but I limited myself. And there were like some films. So my favourite film when I was a kid was this really weird indie film. And I haven't watched it in probably 10 years because I was like, did I only love that because at 14 I thought I was super cool and super different for loving it? Yeah. So I've still got it on DVD. It's got very young and like swoony Mark Ruffalo in. But I did watch it. And whilst I don't rate rate it 5 stars anymore. I still would rate it like 4.5. And I was like, that was a good film. I did have good taste. Nice. But then there were some other films that went down quite a lot.
What was the Mark Ruffalo film?
It's called My Life Without Me. It's a Canadian film about a young mother who gets cancer and decides to do a bucket list, like having an affair. And
brilliant.
It's really quite sweet, actually.
Do you know what? I think that sounds like something quite up my street. Definitely.
I will lend you the DVD.
Please do. Send it on over. I think maybe that sounds like a good idea for me. And I think maybe I might want to do that while we're watching all of these quote unquote bad films. I probably will need something like my favourite films to help me get through it.
A tonic, an antidote.
Yeah, exactly. And in the spirit of the podcast, I wanted to mention the worst film. Obviously, we'll put this to you, Claire, in a second, your favourite and your worst. The worst film I have seen is a Nicolas Cage film. Surprise, surprise. It's called Pay the Ghost. I don't know if you've heard of it, Claire.
I haven't, but I mean, Nicolas Cage, you say Nicolas Cage film and you say Nicolas Cage film after the mid-90s, we know it's only going to go one of two ways.
He does have a panache for choosing very polarising films. Yeah. But it's called Pay the Ghost, and I awkwardly saw it at a screening that it was hosted by an agency that I work in PR. We were doing the home entertainment PR for the release, and I took a date to the screening, and it was so bad. I was so embarrassed for this date. Like, I'm one of these people that, like, are they enjoying it? Are they enjoying it? I was like, I'm not enjoying this. I was like, this is really awkward because all these journalists around me aren't going to be enjoying it. It was, yeah.
What is the premise of the film?
Do you know what? I can't even really remember too much, but essentially I think his son goes missing. And I think it's about the psychological sort of like thing of, I think it's meant to be a metaphor of that he was taken by a ghost and this person is haunting him or whatever, but it's actually just like the dealing with the fact that his son got kidnapped and it was his fault. But I don't even I think we should watch it. I think maybe we should put our worst rated films ourselves in the mix for special episodes, because I want to revisit this because I can't remember, and I feel like I do want to relive it again, just like, you know, in the comfort of my own home without having taken this date to try and impress them, because I was, you know, doing PR for a film with Nicolas Cage in, and then it was that. Awkward. So Claire, tell us about your favourite films and your worst film as well.
Okay, so while you might be a film bro, I am a basic white bitch. I am the biggest, like, basic girl in the world. My three favourite films are La La Land, Call Me By Your Name, and Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is basically the trilogy of people crying about love and no one loving anyone by the end. I love romance, and apparently I don't like happy endings. So, I mean, it sums up my life.
That's a niche, but I feel like there's a lot, you could get that a lot. So I think there's plenty more where that come from in that genre.
Oh yeah, I was doing that Twitter trend last night where it was like one favourite movie, and I was just going through my favourite movies, and I was like, oh man, I'm such a millennial girl.
Love it. I haven't actually seen Call Me By Your Name or Portrait of a Lady on Fire, so I need to change that stat.
I have them both on Blu-ray. I can lend them to you as well.
I think I should just treat you like a blockbuster, Claire, to be honest. Pretty much. And I should just come round, have a little go around on a Friday, once the tier systems are, you know, a little bit more forgiving. Come round, have a look around on a Friday night, buy my popcorn from you.
Yeah, I can make you some popcorn.
Good old days of Blockbuster.
Absolutely. But yeah, so they would be my three favourite films. And then obviously my kind of all-time comfort movie is Legally Blonde. And I have watched, I think I was very sick once when I was a teenager and I had Legally Blonde on VHS. And my VHS player in my room, when the film ended, it would automatically rewind and then it would play it again. And in this day that I spent in bed, I watched various parts of Legally Blonde at least 7 times, and I never got bored.
No, it is a very good one, to be fair. I do love it.
Yeah. You know, if I'm on my deathbed, just pop Legally Blonde on. It'll make me feel better.
Yeah.
Okay, and my worst film is really controversial. I've got two. I'll do a actually, I think even the non-controversial one is still a little controversial.
I'm intrigued.
So my worst film I've seen, I only saw it for the first time this year during lockdown, and it is David Lynch's Blue Velvet, which is like known as one of the greatest movies of all time. And please, if you are listening to this and you're mad at me already, please talk to me, because I want to know, what did I watch that no one else watched? Or what did I not see? Because I don't understand how that film can be held in that high a regard. I gave it half a star. I thought it was awful.
I haven't seen it, so
it's my first David Lynch film. So maybe I kind of thought I knew what was going in. My ex-boyfriend, we met at film school. We both have film degrees. He was a huge Lynch fan, and we had all the Lynch DVDs, but he tended to watch them on his own because they were like his thing.
Right. You weren't allowed to. It's his thing.
I was allowed to, but I think we both kind of knew that if I didn't like them, it might be a problem. So it was just like this silent agreement that I just never watched them. It was the same with the Ghibli films. He was like obsessed with Studio Ghibli, and I've only started watching Studio Ghibli this year because it was almost too big a thing that if I watched them and didn't like them,
there was too much pressure on you to like them, essentially. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but luckily I like Ghibli. I do not like David Lynch's Blue Velvet. And I thought it was quite possibly the worst acting I've ever seen in my life, and half of them were nominated for Oscars.
This is so bizarre. I feel like I'm going to have to watch this just to see what camp I'm in.
Yeah, like literally my Letterboxd review is, I don't understand. If you liked this film, please send me your reviews and explain to me.
I literally want to understand. Please help me.
Yeah, because I'm like, I just
want to dislike this.
If I'd have given it, like 2 stars, I'd have been like, oh, not my thing, or it's dated badly. But like, I hated it. I had to force myself to keep watching it. Have you
seen anything else of his since?
No,
because I think I've only seen one David Lynch film, and that's Mulholland Drive.
So I really want to see Mulholland Drive.
And I'm interested to see whether you'll like it or not, because I don't know how similar it is to his other stuff. But I watched it when I must have been in sixth form at the time, and iTunes were doing this thing where they'd release a film for like really cheap or free on like a Thursday. It was kind of like just like, like you used to get like 2 for 1 at the cinema. It was kind of like that. And I watched it. And I watched it on my laptop, of all things. Like, I know people watch stuff on laptops now, but laptops are so much better and quality is so much better. Mm-hmm. My old laptop was not good. So I don't know whether that didn't help.
Most of my first DVDs, I didn't own a DVD player, but we had a PC, the big grey square PC.
Right, yeah.
Most of my first transformative adult films I watched on that, sat on my brother's bunk bed because the computer was in my brother's room for some reason.
It's funny though, because you'll always remember that, won't you? Now, although it wasn't the best way to view them, in a way you probably remember them more. But I watched Mulholland Drive that way, and there's one bit in that really, really scared me. And the people that have seen it was when I won't spoil anything, but the camera was on a corner, and then suddenly something just jumps into shot, and it really scared me. But I didn't understand it. I liked it because I like films that make you think, but I was just like, I can't come to a conclusion, and I don't know if I'm supposed to. So, I like looking up films afterwards and being like, what does this mean? Like, there's theories and stuff. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm like, I would like to have at least come up with or had an idea of a theory myself first. You see what I mean? And then talk to people and be like, oh, that's interesting. But if I'm literally like, what does this mean? I'm like, did I really appreciate it that much? Or...
Well, see, that's with Blue Velvet. I feel like I understood. It was talking about, the hidden darkness within suburbia and everything that goes on behind closed doors and that kind of thing.
I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
I had that general idea of it, and again, talking about my ex-boyfriend, he was obsessed with Desperate Housewives, as was I, and he loved Desperate Housewives, and I think part of the reason he got really into it was because it was about that behind closed doors suburbia element that I think was a little bit ripped or inspired by Blue Velvet. And then Carl McLachlan turned up in season 2 or season 3 of Desperate Housewives, who is the star of Blue Velvet and of Twin Peaks. He's a big David Lynch person. So that was also, I think, his big impetus for getting into it. But so because I knew about Desperate Housewives and all of that, I did kind of know what I was getting into. I just thought it was really stupid. I just thought it was so stupid. And I was like, do people, what am I watching? Because it just, I'm flabbergasted and I don't want to watch it again because I thought it was so bad. But like
this is exactly why I feel like, as much as like I see a lot of people on Twitter say, you know, we don't want to do worst of lists because we don't want that negativity. But in a way, I feel like this is such a good conversation to have to understand what people didn't get from a film and what people did. So I'm glad that we've told each other what our worst films are at the moment, because I'm really interested to revisit mine and also watch what yours is.
Yeah, I mean, the other one, the slightly less controversial one, was the Jack Black film Nacho Libre, which I just hated because I thought the comedy was gross and stupid. So there are a lot of big fans of that film, so it might still be controversial, but I just stand by the humour was not for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think that's what happens. I think that's how a comedy can go wrong so easily. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I don't know if we've sort of had a look. It'd be interesting to have a look. I know we've had a look at what decade a lot of these have come from, the bottom 100, but it'd be interesting to maybe have a look at the genre as well, because I think it's so easy to get a comedy wrong if you just don't hit the right note and tone.
So whilst I looked up the different decades they were all from. I did a list of how many remakes were in the list and how many prequels or sequels. But what I also discovered is that there are 11 of those parody films, like Date Movie, Scary Movie, We Are the Spartans, and they're all comedies. So that's 11 comedies of a certain comedy genre that all ended up on this list.
Yeah. And is it... and I think another thing I'm interested to look at when we talk about each of the episodes is, you know, what was the intention behind this? Because some of them was like, some of the films on here do come from this intent to make a really good film, but then films like that, I wonder, it's just the studios going, throw some money at something, take the piss out of something, and people will laugh. But other than the first few Scary Movies, they haven't really worked.
And that's it. The first Scary Movie is really funny because it was a resurgence of the slasher genre. I know that you've just discovered Scream this year. Welcome to the club.
I have, yes. Too long. Should have watched it immediately.
You had a resurgence of that kind of genre and kind of that smart talking kind of element to it. And the first Scary Movie is really funny and hits on all of those veins and is a great homage. They struggled with 2, and then from 3 onward, I think I quite liked 3. I don't know what ones I've seen after 3, but from that point on, they just
the first 2.
The thing about the first one that was good as well is they had years worth of material to take from. Whilst they mostly took from Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, they did have so many other films to take from. When you're suddenly doing one of those films a year, no one is releasing the films to parody yet.
That's a really good point. You've gone quantity over quality at that point, haven't you?
Absolutely. And I think it just became a point where they were like, well, we struck lightning once. Let's keep going. We'll strike it again.
That's not how lightning works, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's not. Did you know I learned from the movie Sweet Home Alabama that if you strike lightning on sand, you get pretty glass, which I think is actually, I think it's a movie lie. But I like that film and I like to believe it's true.
Well, actually... I watched an X-Files episode yesterday where they found some glass and some sand, and it was like Mulder's theory that aliens have been there because like sand only turns to glass in like 2,500 degree heat. So
might have been lightning.
Maybe it's true. Yeah,
that Sweet Home Alabama movie with Reese Witherspoon is where I get all my science from. So I'm saying...
Love that. Yeah. Cool. Claire, tell me, how are you? So we've chatted a little bit about the films that are coming up. How are you feeling about going through all of these, and what are you specifically excited for? Is there any that you're dreading? I know you mentioned Holmes and Watson, but that's off the list now. So is there anything else?
Yeah, so like I was saying to you a couple of weeks ago, and I was really dreading Holmes and Watson. I thought she was lying to me just so she didn't have to watch it, but it's true. It's true. You can all check. I don't want to do that kind of film where it's bad because it's mediocre. And like, I haven't seen it before, but I remember when it came out, it was when I was just really getting back into the film world and film reviews and things like that. So I used to be a film teacher and I left that world and I didn't really do much filmy stuff for a couple of years. And then just as Holmes and Watson came out, I got really into reading reviews again, writing my own reviews. And all of the reviews were just talking about how just not good it was, how bland it was, how just it didn't work. And like, there's no fun in that. I want to watch, like, what is it? Is it Troll Hunter 2? I have no idea what Troll Hunter 2 is about, but even the name excites me. I feel like that's going to be ridiculous.
I've heard, I'm pretty sure, that there wasn't even a 1 or something.
No.
Yeah, no, that's going to be an interesting one to research because...
Interesting.
I'm not sure what went on there.
And like, we were talking to someone on Twitter the other day, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, which has Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. I'm excited to like finally tap into those. And then I'm also really excited for the world to revisit I Know Who Killed Me, because as I spoke to you last week, I have not only seen it numerous times, I own it on DVD and refuse to get rid of the DVD because I am a Lindsay Lohan completist. I'm unfortunately not anymore. But during that episode, I will go through my top 5 Lindsay Lohan performances, maybe even my top 10, and figure out what ones I haven't seen, and maybe I'll try and get them all in.
Maybe we should do a spin-off podcast for Lindsay Lohan. I'm sure she'll love that.
Oh, what the Lohan log.
Oh, wonderful. If you've got a name, it means you have to make it happen. It's like the law.
Okay. Yeah, that could be the spin-off pod. And then ones I'm really not looking forward to, and we've spoken about it as well, and I know they're the same for you. It's the Human Centipede films. I've seen the first one. I'm fine with the first one. I have funny anecdotes about the first one, which I'll save for the episode. But I know the entire synopsis of the second one, and I had kind of said to myself, I'll never watch that. There's a specific part with a car and a brake pedal, and I was like, I don't need that in my life. I don't need to see that. I'm good here. I'm finishing at the 1, and now I'll be watching 2 and 3. So thank you, Daisy.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. This is what I want to bring to people's lives. Forcing them to watch Human Centipede. I never thought, well, I was going to say as well, I never thought I'd have to watch them again. I've watched 1, 2, 3, and it was an experience at the time that I never thought I'd have to live through again. So I was quite happy to be like, right, I'm going in, I'm seeing what this is all about. It's an experience. And I thought, that's it. I'm done now. I'm proud of myself. Let's close that book and move on. And here we are. I'm picking up the book and opening it again. So.
It's not The Hungry Caterpillar. It's a different book, Daisy.
Yeah, imagine if I thought that that's what it was. Not looking forward to that ordeal again. In terms of things that I'm looking forward to, though, can't wait for Spice World.
I can't believe you've not seen... We've got a bit of an age difference. Oh, you have? Okay.
It. Yeah. No, I can't wait for Spice World because I used to watch it so much when I was younger. I had it on VHS, and the VHSs came out in special editions with each of the Spice Girls on. And I had Sporty Spice because she was my favourite.
I just had the generic that had all 5 of them on. I didn't have a special one. I did, though. The tape was neon green.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know why, but it was. And we loved it for it. Yeah, it was fun. And yeah, that's going to be a nostalgia trip. I've also, speaking of things that are quite similar to that, I've never seen Crossroads. The one
so I don't know. I know we have an age gap because we went to the same school, but not at the same time. But so I'm 31, so I would have been about 13 when Crossroads came out. And Crossroads was such a...
I'm not going to do that.
I just remember I was it was such a big deal to me. It was 2002, so I would have been 12 or 13. Okay. We had a school inset day, and we as a group of us, like a large group, I would say about 10 or 20 of us, went to this, met up, and you grew up in the same area as me, so sorry if you didn't grow up where we grew up. Yeah, this will mean nothing to anyone else, but we met up in Bexley Heath Clock Tower, a group of 20 girls from the same school, went to Wilkinson's. Oh, would it have even been Woolworths still at that time? I don't know. But all the sweets in the world. And then we went and we had the entire screen to ourselves just by accident. Incredible. No one else wanted to see this film.
Yeah, they walked in, saw all those girls and walked back out again and thought, nah, I'm not going to go through that.
I mean, who at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday in a normal day, unless it's a group of girls who don't have a random day off school, who's going to see Crossroads? We had the whole screen to ourselves, and it was a thing, and we were all singing by the end. Like, it was a cultural moment. And so
I'm really sad I missed out on that.
Yeah, how old would you have been in 2002?
8.
So yeah, you would have still been like going to the movies with your parents' age.
Yeah, so unless I'd have asked to see it, I don't think my mum or my dad would have had any idea that that was a thing.
I can't remember the film. It's been a very long time since I've seen it, but I do think that there was a teen pregnancy storyline. There was definitely a teen sex storyline.
Oh, God, yeah. No, I'm kind of glad that I didn't take my parents to see that then.
Yeah. Little 8-year-old Daisy going, Mummy, what are they talking about?
I was clued out. I would have been like, oh, God, this is too embarrassing. Do you know what? That's made me look forward to it even more now that I know that backstory. Yeah, I love a backstory. And then I know we've sort of mentioned the parody ones, and they are the worst. But I'm just interested and curious to see them because I love film references. So I'm interested to see what films that they do reference and how terrible it's going to be. Like you say, 11 of them are in the bottom 100. That's 10%. Over 10% are just these ridiculous parody movies. So
yeah, and some that I'd never heard of.
Yeah, so there's like, I think Disaster Movie is number 1, right?
Oh, is it? I know it's on there.
Yeah, I think so.
There was like a Hunger Games one and a Spartans one that I was like, did people make these movies?
I think they're newer, so as they come out, we've kind of lost. We were probably too old to even like, because it's like a teenage thing. I think they maybe came out a lot later, and so we didn't even like pay attention to the fact that they were still happening.
Yeah, the first Hunger Games film I think came out because I taught the books when I was an English teacher, and so I went to see the film as like extra work. Oh my God, it was such a fun book to teach. It's my favourite thing I've ever taught, and I used to teach film, and I still preferred teaching the Hunger Games book. So I think that came out in 2012 or 2013. That was the first one, and there were 4. So if they were doing a parody, the earliest the parody could have come out would be 2013. So yeah, it must be quite recent.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think at that point, like as much as we were still and are still young, we just wouldn't have been that target demographic because they would have gone for the teenagers that had just turned 15 and think these things are hilarious. But I don't even know if kids do find that thing funny. I
don't think they do because despite being in my 30s, I'm still clinging desperately onto the YA world. I still read YA books. I still love a good teenage film. I watched the second To All the Boys That I Loved Before film a couple of days ago.
I haven't seen the second one. I watched the first
really
one.
Nice. It's really nice.
The first one.
Yeah, and then you'll like the second one. It's just cute and teen angsty, and they have such cool clothes. And I'm like, why aren't I still a teenager? And I hated being a teenager because I wasn't a teenager in a movie. And I think I'm still waiting for that moment.
Listen, those actors and actresses aren't teenagers either, half of them. So, it's just made up.
But yeah, so I still do watch a lot of teen stuff. But yeah, that comedy isn't there. And I think by that point you had Vine, right? Yeah, you had Vines, you had TikTok, you had people being funnier in 10 seconds than in the whole of a 2-hour movie. So why would you waste your money?
Definitely the access to comedy and the creativity that comedy that's out now, that kind of thing just won't fly anymore. I think that kids and like young adults are so much wittier and sharper than these films kind of give them credit for, and I think that that's why that kind of comedy's died out. I saw a YouTube thumbnail. I haven't watched the video yet, and I can't remember what channel it was on, talking about how the 2010s didn't seem to have many comedies like The Hangover and things like that. And I'm wondering if it's just because actually it's not that they didn't have them, it's just that they weren't successbad.
Well, you also have the thing that the only comedies we did get then, they became the Judd Apatow comedies, because like Superbad would have come out, when did Superbad come out? Late 2000-ish? Like I think it was probably like 2007. I relate everything to whether I was at school, university or a teacher. They're the three parts of my life.
Timekeeping these days is so difficult because I don't know what year I'm in anymore. Am I year 20? I don't know. So
we are currently in 2020, but when this releases, we'll be in 2021. So that's even more confusing.
Time travel. You heard it here first, guys. We are time travelers.
I'm putting it out there now that 2021 probably won't be much better than 2020. So I hope that the future can prove me wrong.
Yeah. It won't be much better, but it can't be worse. Surely it can't be worse. It's going to be better because we're going to be doing this.
Yes. But anyway, so talking of comedies in 2010, so Superbad was kind of the start. Like, you had 40-Year-Old Virgin, you had Superbad, with the start of that Judd Apatow comedy. Yeah. And he kind of then just took over all of comedy, and there were no other comedy films. Like, obviously there were comedy films that Judd Apatow, he didn't even direct Superbad, but it comes from that same, it comes from his like producing and the same sort of like Michael Cera and Jonah Hill. So then you had things like what's the one that I love that's not very good that stars Paul Rudd, Role Models. Like, it's not even that good a movie, but I really love Role Models.
It's got Paul Rudd in though. Come on, Paul Rudd. He makes everything better.
And that's it. And so then the only comedy films you were getting were those, and they
Adam Sandler.
Yeah. But Adam Sandler didn't do that. Oh, no, he did. It's just when I completely decided he wasn't. I found it easiest to decide.
You just disregarded his existence. Well, I'm afraid you're not going to be able to do that anymore because he was on the list at least twice. I know that much.
I know. But you lost family comedy. So we still had comedy, but they became adult comedy. Family comedy just disappeared. And it was becoming prevalent in those films. And I think Scary Movie was probably the first wave of that, because all of those like Scary Movie, Date Movie, We're the Spartans, they're all a bit gross and a bit sexy. So like...
Yeah. So they had to be bumped up to 15, didn't they?
I watched the first Scary Movie with my dad, and anyone who's seen Scary Movie knows that there is there's a sex scene in there that you don't want to watch that with your parents. Definitely as a teenage girl watching that with her dad. One of up their most uncomfortable experiences of their life.
You know what you need to do is, when they have, on IMDb, they have it on IMDb, but there's also a site called Common Sense Media where it's like a parental thing about whether it's appropriate to watch with your kids. But I think it's actually better used to find out whether you'd feel comfortable watching it with your parents.
Yeah.
So if you're ever wondering.
I think this was still in the day of like dial-up internet, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, it was a minefield. It was an absolute minefield before. We're very lucky now that we can. All you need to do now is tweet, be like, "Can I watch this with my parents?" And everyone's like, "Yes or no." Like,
well, I don't know if you. Ammonite, the new Kate Winslet and Saoirse Ronan movie. There's quite a saucy sex scene in that. I invited my mum round to watch the press screening of it with me. So obviously, no one had seen it yet. So. I'm still doing it.
Yeah. Well, it makes for good stories, so there's that. Oh dear. Cool. So I think that about wraps it up for our intro episode. We hope that you'll be tuning in to our very first episode coming soon, and that you'll enjoy coming along for the ride too. If you want to give some of these films a watch, good luck. So you can keep an eye out on our social channels for more information about our upcoming release dates for the pod, and also how to get involved. As Claire mentioned, we'd love to have people on as guests, but if you don't want to come on for a whole episode, but you have seen a film and have some stuff to say, you can send us a voice memo. You can do that by sending it to our email, wratedpod@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at wratedpod, and on Letterboxd as well. The name is wrated there. So please do feel free to get involved and drop us a message about what you think about all these films. And we hope to see you in the next episode.
Amazing. So, Daisy, where can they find you if they want to know a bit more about you and not just the pod?
So I'm mainly on Twitter at Daisy Vic Edwards. You'll know if you found me if the name says Tequila Brie. Long story. But I am on Instagram as well. I'm trying to use that a bit more now. Daisy Victoria Edwards. Very official with my middle name, but there we are. And how about you, Claire?
I've got the same. Mine is also my middle name.
Just differentiate.
Claire Ellen Hope, Claire without an I, on Twitter and Instagram. And again, trying to use Instagram more. It is mostly just stories of me chasing my cat around my car park because she doesn't like to come back into the flat. So you can, if you like cats, give me a follow. And Twitter is either me talking about films or me very drunk. So again, you get one of two things with me.
To be fair, I think I'm pretty similar now that I live with cats. They're not mine, but the cat content has gone up on Instagram, and my Twitter feed is very much films and drunk. So
there we go. This is how we found each other.
It's the niche. We were bound to literally, it was fate.
It was
same school. You work at the university I went to, and all we do is drunk tweet and tweet about films. So meant to be.
But yeah, so that's where you can find me as well. So give us some follows, give us some likes, and hopefully we will see you for the next episode.